to my channel. Today I'm going to have a heart-to-heart. I thought to myself, I am never going to have another heart-to-heart in my whole entire life. And then a friend of mine emailed me this morning, and she had a lot to say to me, and she confirmed a lot of things that was just stewing in my heart. And so the title is A Christian Content Creator, How to Navigate the World. Well, I am not a psychologist or sociologist. I'm not any of that. I'm just an everyday girl. But as a Christian content creator, what does that mean? Well, content creator means basically I make videos. We make videos, but we are Christian. How do we navigate this world? How do we continue to share our life on this platform in a very troublesome world? Now, to many people, they probably don't think this world is so troublesome. But somebody with the background of the Christian faith, and not even just that, people in general, there's a lot of people who say, okay, this world is troubled. What do we do? How do we navigate? This was something that was just festering in my soul for a long time. And I'll be honest with you, I was really confused because I wanted to navigate around everything. I wanted to just make everyone pleased with me. I wanted everyone to like me. And so I would just use terms and words that I thought everybody would like. And I realized that's not my calling. God has called me on this platform to share my life and to share my faith. And so one day a week, I always shared a little bit more about my life. But I realized that I did have some flaws in that. And let me explain that. You see, I don't know everything. In fact, I don't know a lot of things. I just know that my heart is good and my heart is pure. But sometimes when I share my heart with people, they don't know me and they don't know Teresa like so many of you do. And they see only the words that I say and don't understand me. In this world, we're always misunderstood. And especially online, it can be really, really troublesome because we're not there to see people one-on-one. So there's a lot of things that people can assume by just seeing it online. But I do have something I need to correct with myself. And my first thought was, that's it, I'm done. I am never going to share my life ever again. I am just going to do these videos and these videos and these videos. Then I realized, what happens if everyone in the world would do that? What happens if everyone in the world would just never take a stand for what they believe in? What would the world be like? The world would be dominated by people that would take a stand, and maybe that's not always so good. In other words, I think that we need to take a stand for our beliefs, and we need to make our beliefs known to people. No, we don't cram them down people's necks, but we share our life. And so I started thinking about things, and I realized two things, and I'm going to really focus on them. The first thing I realized was, wow, there's a lot of really good people in this world. I had over 1,000 comments on a video that I did recently. I'll be honest with you, I let things get to me that day. And in Homestead Tessie fashion, I turned the camera on. Should I have done that? Some people would have said no, but I have over 1,000 comments of people who said yes, because it was being me. See, I never saw this as a business platform. I saw this as a way for me to reach out to people, and I am childlike, so I visualize all of you with me. And so when I turn the camera on and I share things about my life, I visualize all of you like right with me, because it's humanly impossible for all of you to be with me. But the camera has become my best friend because the camera has allowed me into your homes. You're watching me in your homes. And when I think about that, it can be very frightening to think about that right now, there's thousands of you that are listening to me. But I put all that aside, put all that away, and I focused on what do I want to share. And I focused on sharing my thoughts. So that was a good thing that I realized. I realized there's so many good people. Some of the people that watched my video probably only watched that one and will never watch another one of mine again. But that's okay because they ministered to me and the words that they said. And I did a small thank you video just to thank everyone, because I really do appreciate everyone's words for advice. I am not the most socially accurate person. In other words, socially, I don't have very good social skills when it comes to teaching and speaking and lecturing. Well, now, some people would say I do, but in the general, world that we live in, I get tongue-tied. But in the Bible, God used the least of them to make the biggest difference in life. God used very, very rich people. In other words, Solomon, God used them, but God also used little people like David, who changed the whole dynamics of thousands of people's lives. David was a man after God's own heart. So there's thousands of Bible stories that talk about, the littlest one and the least of them. So we don't have to be experts in theology and experts in speaking skills and experts in, filming and programming. And we don't have to do all of that, because God doesn't want experts. He wants the everyday people. But I did do some things wrong. And I realized that looking back, I shared my life and I shared personal things, because that was for me a way to show to people where I've come from, where I'm going, and what am I thinking. But in doing so, I shared personal things about personal people. And I realized that when it comes to other people, I should not be sharing that. Even though I was sharing it to give God the glory, and I also was sharing it in a very pure heart, I realized, though, there has to be a fine line. And the Lord really spoke to me through all of you, and also spoke to me in my personal life, that I need to share what God has done in my life and not what the other people have done in my life. And that's a really fine line, because that is really hard, because how do you share your parable, your story, without giving any kind of background of your story that involves other people? And that's something I'm trying to navigate. So, like the title says, Christian content creator navigating the world. How can I show what Christ has done in my life, and doing it in a way that is not dramatic and drama causing, but yet it is sharing my life and what Christ has done for me. People can deny this all they want, but a lot of the Bible, most of the Bible was drama. It was drama. I mean, how much more drama can you get? David killed a man so he could have his wife, That's drama. I mean, but it was showing how Christ used a sinner that repented of his sins and used him for the glory of God. I mean, everything in the Bible, Samson and Delilah, it's drama. But how can I navigate social media, YouTube, as a Christian content creator? How can I navigate all of that without the personal effects of it? I shared a lot of my life. Not all of it, but a lot. And I am an open book like that. That's how I am. I do it not because I want the drama of it. It's just, I am so excited about what God has done in my life. And I realize there are a lot of people who just ignore what God's done in my life side of it, and they just want to see the other side of it. I know that. I understand that. But that's with them and not with me. God knows my heart is pure, but yet I need to have self-control. And I need to think a little bit before I speak. And, I say these things online because I want you to know that I understand what you're all saying, and I love the counsel of all of you. Yes, it is like therapy for me, but I think it's therapy for a lot of people, because they see me going through so much, and a lot of them are going through it too, but maybe not so publicly. So this is what I'm gonna do. I am going to navigate my life on YouTube as a Christian content creator, but I'm going to do it in a more professional way. And that doesn't mean you're gonna lose any of my childlike learning skills, because I'm childlike. I was born that way, and I'm always going to be that way. Maybe not quite as childlike as I was when I first started my YouTube channel, because I've got used to being around the public quite a bit. I turn that camera on now and I really don't give it much double thought. But yet I need to realize I did turn the camera on. I am posting for the whole world to see. And I am sharing with the world my life. And once that's on camera and once that's uploaded, that's what it is. I can be raw, I can be vulnerable, but I can do it in a way that has self-control. So I learned a lot, I really did. And you know, am I ever gonna make mistakes again on YouTube? Of course, I am. But I learned through it, and I still say that so many people in this world have become silent, and I don't blame them one bit. I don't blame them for being silent, because it's getting to the point this world just has so much hatred. And just the problem with online life is this. In real life, people couldn't get away with some of the things that they get away with online life. But the online life is billions and billions and billions of, you know, conversations and billions of videos and billions of people, and there's no way to regulate that. I do believe in the years to come, something's going to have to change, because it is getting more criminal and more things are happening on the online world, because there's simply, it's like the wild, wild west. You know, there is nobody really regulating it. And what happens is people do things and they say things online, and that seems all fine and dandy, but sometimes what they do online crosses into real life. And they had no answer to anybody. They didn't have to answer to anybody online, because there's nobody there regulating anything. And then what happens is it gets more and more and more, and they push it and push it and push it. But I understand why people are silent. I totally understand that. But yet, if everyone remains silent to things that are happening in this world is going to continue to go down a very slippery slope. And that's all I'm going to say, because that is not my calling, is to get into political things or to get into world news things or to get into that. That's not my calling. But that doesn't mean that I don't have my feelings, because I do believe that we need to take a stand. And I do believe that we need to come together as a people, and we need to embrace one another, and we need to focus on how can we make this world a better place. I am an old-fashioned traditionalist. I'm old-fashioned. I have traditions. So I thank you guys so much for listening to me as I navigate this world as a Christian content creator, and I'm figuring it all out. But as the world changes, and it has changed since I started my channel, it has really changed. YouTube has changed since I started my channel. As things change, I need to see that as a change, and then I need to figure out where I am in that change. And so I realize people have different interests than they did 7 years ago. I realize people have different passions, and I have different wanting to see things. I mean, that changes from year to year. Some of my biggest videos 3 years ago are my lowest videos this year. It just depends on what is on people's minds and hearts. But you know what? What's in my mind and heart is going to be, I'm going to share what the Lord has done in my life, but do it in a more structured environment, and just having a little more self-control and just thinking a little bit more before I speak. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow.